Welcome to Daily Plunge. We are in the book of Daniel, chapter 4, verses 1 through 18. King Nebuchadnezzar makes a public service announcement talking about, once again, what a wonderful guy he is. He speaks to all his people from all kinds of different nations and tribes and languages because he's conquered all these people, because he's just so ruthless. He's a tyrant. But still he wants to boast. And he says, I pray that all of you, I'm hoping all of you guys are going to prosper. Of course, it benefits him. He goes, let me tell you about the miraculous signs and wonders that the Most High God has done. Now, this seems like an amazing statement. He must be talking about the God of Israel. You got to wonder, though, as you continue to listen to King Nebuchadnezzar. Perhaps he is able to speak of his title and name, but he does not understand the God of history. He does not know the God of the covenant. He only sees the outward effects of him. And he says, I was at my wonderful palace. I'm very contented and prosperous. Yeah, I got all that, right? And I had a dream that made me afraid. Think about that. He's got everything that should make him happy, and yet in his dreams, he's troubled. And I think about how, when we should be focused on the things we have right in front of us, we look off into the future and scare ourselves half to death because we're not living in the present. And all we can do as people of faith is live in the present. You can't live in the future. You have no control over it. You're not there. Live in the present. But, as he is filled with the delusions and the lies of this world, the king thinks he can do something about it. And so he commanded that his magicians, astrologers, and spirit mediums interpret the dream. And once again, they couldn't pull it off. They can't do the job. So finally, I called Daniel. Daniel's my guy. In fact, I like Daniel so much, I even named him after one of my false gods, he says, which is really kind of crazy. He says, because after all, he must have the spirit of my gods in him, even though King Nebuchadnezzar speaks about the Most High God. Well, what God does he think he knows? I want you to think about how many people think they know the God of the Bible and they really don't. They attribute certain things to him, but they're certainly not willing to come under his authority and rule. And so he says, I said to Belshazzar, Daniel, I know that the spirit of the holy gods, which God is in him. Only the God of the universe can understand the future and speak about it. So he speaks about his dream where he's a humongous tree and he has all these beautiful blessings that come under him. And I saw this while I was looking in bed, and there before me was a holy one, a messenger, coming down from heaven. And he calls in a loud voice, cut that tree down. And I think about how we don't want to hear the voice of God that's going to determine our future. And now I'm going to talk about the interpretation next time. But all of this is to speak about how, King Nebuchadnezzar really isn't in sync with the Lord. Daniel is, and Daniel's serving the king faithfully. But the king is being used by God, not the other way around. The king thinks gods are like slot machines. Daniel knows this is not the truth. Thanks, friends. Have a blessed day.